Hey, what's up? My name is Joe Bragg with the Christian Board Gamers YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be talking about Rise of Babel by Bedouin Games. There's been a lot of conversation concerning this game, and I'm really excited to dive into that. Ray and I, with the Christian Board Gamers podcast, we are going to be digging into the game itself, but also some of the conversations surrounding the game. We're really excited to talk about that and dive in. And Lord willing, we'll end up having the designers join us for an episode a little bit later in the season. So really excited about season 2 of the podcast. Lots of really cool news to share with you soon. So stay tuned for all that. But today I'm just going to really be talking about the game itself, the things I liked about the game, the things I really enjoy playing, the things that I maybe don't love so much and just kind of had to work through. But I'm not going to dive into a whole how to play or anything like that. I just want to talk about the game itself and the things that really stood out to me. So I didn't know this when I was initially looking at the game months ago, that it was actually a deck builder. And it's a really neat deck builder. You've got some multi-use cards here, which is really cool. So you have a lot of agency, a lot of choice as the player. Am I going to do the main action, which is like a top banner on the card, or am I going to do one of the alternatives? I have to choose one, but it gives me a lot more choice as a player, which I actually really enjoy. And so in that, you're going to be building your deck. There's a market where you're purchasing cards. These cards are going to give you other options to be able to do more things throughout the game. It's a satisfying build, for sure. It plays like most deck builders, right? You're going to shuffle, draw a hand of 5. You're going to, on your turn, you're actually going to play all 5 cards, which is nice. And then you're going to have your discard pile. Any cards you purchase go into your discard. Once you run out of your deck, you're going to shuffle and then draw 5 more cards. Right, so again, it's pretty standard in that regard, but it's a satisfying build for sure. Also in the game, like, it's kind of got this pick up and delivery type mechanic, right? So you're taking resources from your player mat and you're bringing them into your camp. Or into your warehouse, and there's some different places that you're going to move resources. And then you have this elephant. It's a really cool cardboard piece, and this elephant, you can upgrade it so it can carry more stuff. You're taking the elephant through the board. You just move up a few spaces, and then you can actually drop off the resource at the temple, and essentially that's where you build it. And the scoring mechanism in the game is very neat. It's very unique. As you're placing resources, some of those resources are scored horizontally, some are scored vertically, some are scored diagonally, some are scored orthogonally, right? So they're next to each other in a block and that kind of stuff. And so it's really neat because as you're playing other players, you're vying for certain spaces. And so I want to make sure that I get resources to the temple to be able to build it in order to score those points. There's also a confusion mechanism, and when you go up on the scoring track, so there's 2 kind of scoring tracks. You have the influence track, and then you have your lion track, which is really your point track. Your influence, as you're gaining influence, it can convert into points throughout the game. But as you're increasing in your influence, you'll start to add confusion, and those confusion tiles are placed anywhere by the player, and they'll be negative points. So it's kind of a take that element in some regard, where I can put my confusion tile down and really kind of mess up your your scoring pattern and those kind of things, and then you're going to get negative points at the end of the round and those things. The game plays over 3 rounds, which is very cool, because it's nice to have that. I know when things are ending, so I can start to pick it up to try to gain some extra points or do those kind of things. Again, really satisfying mechanic there. And I just think overall, the game, itself, it has a lot of things going on. I found that the player mat itself was where a lot of the tension in the game lies, right? Well, what parts do I want to upgrade, and is this upgrade going to benefit me more than that upgrade? And so, like, you really have to work that. And then it's also tied to your resources, so you might want to upgrade one particular track, but you can't because you don't have the correct resource out there, so it kind of limits it. Now, all the upgrades are sweet. They really do help you throughout the game. Some are ongoing, and then some are more like immediate bonuses. They are very, very helpful throughout the game. So there's not a bad upgrade in it. It's just, which track do I really want to move up on here to try to be able to gain a little bit more of an advantage over other players. I've played the game a couple times now, and I have found myself really enjoying it. Now, again, this is a prototype copy, and so the rule book left a little bit to be desired. Had to kind of sort some things out, but we were able to put some pieces together between the rule book and the player aids that you get and the icon sheet that's in here. But again, it's a prototype, so my guess is that those things will all get tightened up. So it did have a little bit of that learning curve, but I will say the first play took me a little bit with Ray. It took us a little time to get there. We got there. The second time I played, I was able to teach the game very, very quickly. And we were able to jump right in, and I actually was playing with my brother-in-law Matt, and we had a lot of fun. Really enjoyed the game. I enjoyed it even more the second time. And so from a board game perspective, I want to say that Rise of Babel is a phenomenal game. Now, again, I know there's conversation going on right now in the Christian circle concerning the game's theme and all those kind of things. And like I said, this is something Ray and I really want to dive into on our podcast. And so we'll be doing that. And again, it'll be episode 3, where we just kind of dedicate some time to the game and talk through the theme and all those kind of things. I do want to say that initially I was a little bit skeptical and wasn't really sure. But after just kind of watching how the designer was handling himself in the conversations and just sort of seeing and learning a little bit more, I was less apprehensive. And that's why I really wanted to see the game. I wanted to play the game, wanted to dive into it. And I think there's a lot of conversation that can be had here. So definitely excited to talk more about it. But if you're looking for a solid deck builder with some really cool strategy points, there's definitely a lot of strategy in the game for sure. And something that's accessible, that you can play, that can generate conversation with other people for sure. I think this game has that ability just from a conversational standpoint. I would definitely recommend Rise of Babel. Again, it is a very satisfying set of mechanics. I think they did a really good job bringing these things together and making it work as a cohesive puzzle, if you will. And I especially like these player mats and just kind of the tension that's in there. So that was really it in a nutshell. Like I said, we're going to talk more about it on the podcast, but I wanted to give you an overview. And again, from a pure board game perspective and the way this game plays and the mechanics and the objective and all of that, it is very well done. I was definitely impressed, and I knew pretty quickly that I was going to enjoy the game. And so, and same with Ray, we both just kind of looked at each other. We're like, yeah, this is definitely going to be an enjoyable experience, and it did not disappoint. So, yeah, I'm just going to keep it short and brief here. Just wanted to share a little bit about the game itself, but definitely satisfying play for sure. And yeah, cool. So thank you so much for taking the time. I know, a review's a review, right? Like, you may have different opinions altogether, and that's totally fine. I'm just sharing mine. So don't go and buy something because I said it's cool. Continue to do your research and all that fun stuff. But if you do get it, I think you will enjoy it. So I know that they're getting ready to launch their Kickstarter as well, so I'll have links and all that in the description. But thanks for taking the time. Be sure to like and subscribe and all that fun jazzerific jazz that YouTube people say and stuff. So cool beans. Until the next time, God bless.